What is an annuity? How do they work? And how to know if one's right for you? Well, the first thing you need to know about annuities is there's two basic types of annuities. There's immediate annuities and there's deferred annuities. We'll talk about immediate annuities first. An immediate annuity is best described as a pension. It's a pension from day one. So if you've ever heard lottery proceeds paid as an annuity, that is an immediate annuity that they're offering. It would actually be more accurate for them to say lottery proceeds paid as an immediate annuity. It's very important to know which type of annuity we're talking about. So immediate annuities are pensions, and they can work any one of about three basic ways. Probably the most common is a life annuity, which would pay a certain amount per month, every month, guaranteed for the rest of the life of the recipient. Or if the recipient is married, they could do a joint life, so the rest of the lives of both husbands and wives. So that way, whether somebody lives 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or maybe even longer in retirement, they're not going to run out of income. There's always going to be another paycheck coming from the immediate annuity provider. So the first type of immediate annuity would be a life or a joint life. Another type of immediate annuity could be known as a refunding annuity, and this would be it pays a certain amount per month, every month for the rest of your life, or for the rest of you and your spouse's life, or it continues to pay until all of the principal, the original deposit, they call that the premium, has been paid back to you or your beneficiaries. So that would be a refunding annuity, where it pays for the rest of your lives or until all the money's been paid back, whichever's longer, not shorter, but longer. And the final type of annuity is actually what you would get when you win the lottery, and that would be a term certain annuity, where there's a certain period of time that they're going to pay you for. So let's say you win the lottery for $9 million. So woohoo, you won $9 million through the lottery. Lottery proceeds paid as an annuity, they would pay you $1 million a year for 10 years. Now I know what you're thinking, Matt, you just made a math error, but no I didn't, because you're getting back all of your original premium, your original deposit, plus there's some interest built into it along the way. So you win the lottery for $9 million, you get paid $1 million a year for 10 years. That would be a 10-year period certain annuity, an immediate annuity. So immediate annuities are a fantastic way to provide a guaranteed income for yourself and your spouse into the future. Immediate annuities are not designed to pass on lump sums to the next generation. They're specifically designed against that. But immediate annuities make great sense for folks who may not have saved as much as they would have liked to for retirement in order to support the lifestyle that they're looking for. So they're able to convert this lump sum into a very high guaranteed income. Quite frankly, nothing pays a higher guaranteed income than an immediate annuity, because every payment is considered to have not just principal, but also interest in it as well. What's nice about that is the principal coming back to you is tax-free. So a lot of the annuity income that you receive has tax favorable positions because you're receiving back your principal and you're not paying tax on that. Now keep in mind, if it's inside of an IRA, the IRA rules of withdrawals would override, and if it's inside a Roth, same thing there, the Roth rules would override as far as the taxes go. But just a regular husband and wife jointly owned immediate annuity has a lot of tax favorability in that most of the income would be tax-free as well. So if you'd like to learn more, just give me a call at 1-800-482-4720 or email info@taylorretirementservices.com. I'd be honored to see if there's any way I can help. So two types of annuities. We've now talked about immediate annuities. The next type would be a deferred annuity. A deferred annuity is simply some type of savings or investment account that grows year in and year out, tax deferred. At some point in the future, you could take withdrawals from it like any other investment account, or if you wanted to, you could actually turn it into a pension. Now with deferred annuities, most folks never turn them into a pension, and that's okay. They just use it as an investment where they make the deposits, the account grows year in and year out without taxes, and then they take withdrawals, and whatever the remaining balance is at the end of their days, that's what passes on to the next generation as well. So that's the more common type of annuity that's used out there, deferred annuities. Now with deferred annuities, whether it's in an IRA or a Roth, or you own it jointly with your spouse, or you own it as an individual, doesn't matter, they all get growth that is tax deferred. So money that you would have otherwise be spending on Uncle Sam of growth inside of an account actually stays inside the deferred annuity and compounds to help your account grow faster, to help you increase your value faster, which will help you increase your retirement lifestyle faster as well. Now of deferred annuities, there's three basic types. There's the fixed, the indexed, and the variable. A fixed annuity is best described as a CD through an insurance company. Pretty much everything you know to be true about a CD is also true of a fixed annuity. With a fixed annuity, you make a deposit into the fixed annuity that's known as a premium. So money being added to this is called premium. The insurance company then promises you a guaranteed amount of interest. So just as an example, let's say they're guaranteeing you 4% for 5 years. So they're going to pay you 4% for 5 years no matter what. If interest rates go up, they're going to pay you 4% for 5 years. If interest rates go down, they're going to pay you 4% for 5 years. So regardless of what's actually happening in the economy or interest rates or the stock market, it's a guaranteed interest of 4%. Now with most fixed annuities, you can actually withdraw all of the interest every month penalty-free. So you can use it as a source of income in retirement. So you deposit your money, you receive 4% each month. Now not 4% each month, but 4% over a year divided into 12 months. You receive that portion each month and you can put it in your pocket and spend it, and you wouldn't have any penalties from the annuity company for doing that. Now, unlike a CD, most fixed annuities actually give you access to principal midstream as well. Typically, it's 10% per year. So you could withdraw all of the interest every month, and then at the end of each year, you could withdraw 10% of your principal as well. This is helpful in the event of an emergency or an opportunity. Now also, most fixed annuities have a feature in them that if the withdrawal because of an emergency is a medical, like a death or a terminal illness or a long-term care stay, they'll waive any early withdrawal charges if you decide to go above the 10% withdrawal. So you could actually, in those situations, withdraw 100% without any type of early withdrawal charge applying. So fixed annuities are excellent alternatives to CDs because if you think about it, in the same time period when a fixed annuity is paying 4%, a CD is paying 2 3/4%. So generally speaking, fixed annuities are always 1 to 1.5% per year more interest than a CD. So if you're a CD liker, I think you're going to be a fixed annuity lover. It's worth looking into. So if you'd like to learn more, just give me a call at 1-800-482-4720 or email info@taylorretirementservices.com. Now the second type of deferred annuity would be the indexed annuity. An indexed annuity is a type of annuity where you make premium deposits into it. It grows year in and year out without taxes being assessed. At some point in the future, you can start making withdrawals, or if you wanted to, you could turn it into a pension. If you simply take withdrawals here and there, whatever's left over at the end of your lifetime passes on to your beneficiaries as well. So the money's not lost to the family. Now what's unique about an indexed annuity is rather than having a guaranteed rate of interest, they're gambling with your interest. They're gambling with your interest in the stock market to see how much growth they could get you. Now they're not gambling with your principal, so the only uncertainty is how much you could make, not how much you could lose. So with an indexed annuity, if the stock market goes up, they'll credit you a fair rate of return. But if the stock market goes down, your account stays level. So an example might be the stock market goes up 10%, they'll credit you 5, 6, 7%. Or if the stock market goes down 10%, your account will stay level. So the only uncertainty is how much you'll make, not whether or not you'll lose anything. A very nice feature about the indexed annuity is known as the annual reset. Every year starts over fresh. So let's say one year the stock market drops 10%, you would earn no interest that year. The next year the market simply recovers back to where it was before. So it recovers that 10% loss, the market's just back to where it started. So if you were in stocks or mutual funds or variable annuities, you wouldn't have made any money. But with the indexed annuity, you'd actually be up. Because in the first year when the market dropped, your account would stay level. In the second year when the market recovered, because of the annual reset provision, you would grow right along with it. It's like a ratchet. It only goes one direction. It'll only go up, it won't go down. So the market goes down 10, you get a 0. Market goes up 10, you get a 5, 6, 7% return. In that way, you're up when the rest of the world is still just recovering from their losses. Indexed annuities are excellent for folks who want to play the stock market but don't want to take any risks, especially if you're too young to be in a CD or fixed annuity, but you're also too old to just be running the outright risk of the stock market with all of your life savings. The indexed annuity makes a lot of sense for folks 60 to 80 years of age who fall into that category of you want to get a good rate of return, but you want to do it safely because you're too close to or already in retirement where you don't want to have large losses of principal. So that's the indexed annuity. So if you'd like to learn more, just give me a call at 1-800-482-4720 or email info@taylorretirementservices.com. The third and final type of deferred annuity would be the variable annuity. Variable annuities are the most widely marketed, they're also the most widely criticized, and they're also the most widely owned of all the annuity types. A variable annuity at its core is a collection of mutual fund-like sub-accounts. Now, mutual funds are collections of investments, stocks, bonds, or stocks and bonds put together, with a manager that buys and sells on your behalf. So in a variable annuity, you have a manager that's buying and selling collections of stocks and bonds on your behalf, and there's this management fee. Then on top of that, they wrap a life insurance fee as well. The life insurance fee on a variable annuity is to replace losses when the owner dies. So an example would be, let's say you put $100,000 into a variable annuity, it drops to $80,000 in value because of the stock market losses, and then the owner of the account dies. Well, the beneficiary would get the high watermark. The beneficiary would get the $100,000. So with a variable annuity, there's a life insurance piece, a death benefit, that's typically the original deposits minus any withdrawals, or the current account value, whichever's greater. So the death benefit on a variable annuity does provide a level of safety to the beneficiaries, but it doesn't really do anything for the account owner, because as the owner of a variable annuity, you're still running the risk of the stock market going up and down. Now, many of the name brand no-load mutual fund companies offer their mutual funds inside their own variable annuities, and they're not too bad. They're good mutual funds, there's low management fees on those mutual funds, and the life insurance fee isn't too bad either. But once you add up all of those fees, it does typically come to about 2 to 3% a year. And even just 2 to 3% a year in fees on a variable annuity can be damaging. Think about it like this. If the stock market goes up 10% and you've got a variable annuity through one of the major no-load mutual fund companies, your account's going to go up 7 to 8%. Not too bad. But when the stock market goes down 10%, your variable annuity is going to go down 12 to 13%. So the fees not only reduce the gains in the good time, the fees also increase the losses in the bad time. And that's just not a fair trade-off, because you're taking on all the risk to not get all of the reward. But most variable annuities out there are not through the major no-load mutual fund companies. They're through name brand life insurance companies. And these life insurance companies will add lots of additional features onto their variable annuities. Now, it sounds like they're doing you a favor, but you have to look at the cost as well as the benefit. They'll add riders to provide a lifetime income benefit, which is a guaranteed income, kind of like annuitizing, but you still have control and access over the principal. Or they'll add a rider to ratchet up the death benefit at a predictable rate. Or there'll be a rider on top of a rider to bump up the guaranteed income even higher in the event of a long-term care stay. And this all sounds great and it all sounds like a winner for retirees until you realize that this takes the fees from being 2 to 3% a year to being 6 to 8% per year. That's substantial. It's awfully hard to make a good rate of return when you have a 6 to 8% drag on the account every year. So if the market's going up 10, you're getting 2 to 4%. And if the market's going down 10, your account's going down 16 to 18%. And that often pigeonholes folks into only being able to use the variable annuity successfully by annuitizing it or turning it into a pension. And that's not what most folks want to do. Most folks want to preserve their lump sum and pass it on to the next generation. So when it comes to variable annuities, you really have to look closely at what are the benefits and what are the fees. And I'm a bit of a purist. I tend to lean towards recommending simple accounts that don't have all kinds of extra benefits which add lots of extra fees to the account because, in my opinion, oftentimes it's just not worth the extra fee. How you find out about this is they actually have to provide you with a written description of the account. It's the prospectus, and usually they're about this thick and they're printed on tissue paper. And inside the first 20 pages, they have to tell you on a $10,000 investment, what would the fees be? And what you'll see is on a $10,000 investment, they'll disclose that the fees would be $600, $700, $800, $850, maybe even $900 a year in fees on a $10,000 investment. That's kind of a clever way of saying that the fees are 6, 7, 8% without actually saying they're 6, 7, 8%. Now, if you sound like this is familiar and you think you might have a variable annuity and you're not really sure what your fee structure is and whether or not it's a good account for you, that's a reason to reach out to us, to email us, to pick up the phone and give us a call. We're here to help. A common question asked about annuities is, what are the fees? Generally speaking, immediate annuities don't have fees. You've simply bought yourself a pension. Fixed annuities typically don't have fees, just like, well, CDs typically don't have fees either. Many indexed annuities are available without fees, and generally speaking, if there is a fee, it's usually for an income rider. Income riders are discussed in their own video. Check out the channel for a link to it. Variable annuities have management fees, mortality expense, income rider fees, death benefit rider fees, and they can get, well, in my opinion, rather expensive. That's why when using annuities to satisfy somebody's financial plan, in general, I like to recommend immediate, fixed, or indexed, and not variables.